What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a very valuable video because I'm going to explain how over the past few years I've put on over 40 pounds of lean muscle, how I found my purpose, how I regained all of my confidence. And I'm going to be straight up with you. A lot of coaches would charge money for what I'm going to share, but I'm not going to do that because I know that the difference between where you are right now and where you want to be is, yes, more information, but more so how to apply that information, how to build an actual system and the habits you need to get the results that you're after. So that's what this video is about. And yeah, I've been working on it for a while and I'm super excited to share it with you guys. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so how I gained over 40 pounds of lean muscle while finding my purpose and regaining my confidence. You can see the transformation right there. Not too bad. So, I was skinny fat with no muscle definition. I had terrible depression and anxiety. I struggled with the drug addiction for 7 years. It was bad. So I had zero discipline or structure, no motivation or drive, and I hurt the people I loved by my lack of intention in my life. This is a big one because a lot of times we think our decisions are only affecting us and they're only harming us, but it goes much deeper. It's affecting the people around you, the people that expect you to support them. It's expecting people that are younger than you, that are inspired and they look up to you. So it's always much deeper than just hurting yourself. You're hurting a lot more people than you realize. But now things are a lot different. I added over 40 pounds of lean muscle to my frame. I built a strong mindset and regained my confidence. I now have a burning passion and desire to keep leveling up and getting better every day. And I overcame my drug addiction. So guys, I understand what it's like to be on both sides of my transformation. So I want you to know that I understand what you are going through and how you feel, how hopeless you might feel, how you might not, think you have what it takes. I had all of these thoughts, but I overcame it and I developed a system, and that's why I wanted to make this video. So let's get right into it. So before I get into it, I want to tell you guys who this is for, who this video is for. If you're watching this and you are any of these things, then this is for you. So if you're looking to lose all of your excess body fat while also adding on lean muscle to your frame, so people won't even have to ask if you work out, they will know just by looking at you. I've gotten this compliment before where someone will just come up to me and they'll say like, hey, I can tell you work out. I can tell you take your health serious. That's a very big compliment for someone to just say that to you. Okay? If you are tired of feeling stuck in the same place no matter what you try, you still aren't getting the results you're after, and you need a proven plan that is 100% guaranteed to get your dream physique, obviously if you put in the work. This was me for a while. I felt like I was trying all these things that I found online, getting different advice from different coaches or different gurus out there, and nothing really worked for me. So it can feel very lost if you've tried multiple things and you haven't got the results. It's very easy to give up. Okay, and if you are sick of just letting your body destroy your confidence and hold you hostage from living your dream life, that was a big one for me because I had no confidence. I couldn't keep the promises I made to myself. I couldn't get the results I was after, so it naturally just put a lot of self-doubt in me. I was very insecure and my confidence lacked big time. So who this is not for. So if you are any of these things, you can just click off of this video right now because this is not for you. All right. So if you are not open to change and willing to try things a new or different way, if you are looking for a quick fix instead of learning a system that will not only get you the results, but keep them for the rest of your life, if you are not able to dedicate time to working out and cooking food on your plan, and if you simply do not want to improve and would rather stay where you're at, if you are any of these things, unfortunately, this is not going to be for you. You need to accept that maybe you don't know everything. Maybe you need to learn from someone that knows a little more, that has a little more knowledge than you, or just simply the things that you have tried haven't worked. So, you really have nowhere else to go. And this is not a quick fix. Like I said, this is not a diet. This is not a 3-month or 6-month plan. This is a way of life. And I'll explain that further in the video. But I just want you guys to understand that this is for people that are actually very serious, that want to make a change and are willing to do whatever it takes to get there. So here's the truth about building actual lean muscle. You can absolutely build real lean muscle without giving up your favorite foods or spending countless hours in the gym. I have a cheat meal every single week, sometimes twice a week. And I'm only in the gym for like an hour and a half at max. Sometimes I stretch it out a little bit if I have time, but if you are intentional about your workouts, you do not need to spend 2 hours in the gym. Sometimes when you do that and you stretch out your sessions too long, you're doing more harm than good. But most men aren't capable of doing so because they don't fundamentally understand how to eat foods that are best for their body. Okay, this isn't a one-size-fits-all type of program. Everyone's body is different. What works for one guy might not work for you. So it's very specific on what you need. Okay, and then train efficiently to maximize and increase the rate of their progress. This is a very big one. It kind of goes into what I just talked about with being intentional with your training sessions. Training is a lot more than just going in the gym and moving weight around. It is an actual skill that takes a lot of time and knowledge to master. And I'm going to go over that later in the video as well. But most importantly, they don't understand how to adopt the proper mindset and habits that make getting in shape a way of life. Okay, in other words, having that discipline to, make this a way of life, make this something that you do for the rest of your life. And yeah, it is once you figure out how to like apply this to your life and actually live this way, it will be night and day difference, and you won't ever go back to your old ways. I can promise you that. Okay, because I can attest to it. It has changed my life in so many ways. There is no such thing as being born without discipline. In all honesty, I used to think this way, and it held me back for the longest time. I was faced with nonstop temptations and desires, and it led me to believe that I didn't have what it took. Okay, I thought that I was different. I thought that I had way more temptations and desires than another guy, and that just made me predisposed to not have the discipline that another person would have, okay? But discipline is a combination of a strong mindset and habits. It is having those temptations and desires, but choosing to turn away and not act on them. It sounds pretty simple, and that's because it is. But this doesn't mean it's easy, all right? This is the secret to the people you see with that unbreakable discipline. So these are the things that are going to hold you back. And these are very big. Finding reasons you can't do something instead of reasons you can. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. You need to always look at, if you just constantly go throughout your life and you try to find reasons why you shouldn't do something, why you can't do something, you're never going to get anywhere. The people that find a way to make it work are always going to be one step ahead. All right, there's no such thing as I'm too busy or that won't work for me. This program is going to give you every resource you need to achieve your dream physique and the ultimate man you were meant to be. So the people that get results are the ones that are willing to do whatever it takes. I can give you guys the perfect plan. You can have the perfect plan, but if you can't execute on it, then there's no point in even trying. And that might sound harsh, but I'm not here to be the nice guy. I'm here to be honest and tell you exactly what it takes to become the best version of yourself. Okay, I've been through this. I know what it takes. Okay, it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. So I'm going to be very real with you guys. And if you want that person to be you, I'm going to show you in this video how to build a system to not hold yourself back anymore, how I personally got in the best shape of my life and gained my confidence back, how we're going to get you in the best shape of your life and gain your confidence back, and how to do all this without giving up the things that you love in all of your free time. So before we dive in, just a little background as to how I got here. For the past 5 years, my primary focus has been getting myself out of the deep hole that I dug myself in. I dedicated so much time to learning what actually works and gets results. And I am proof of just that. I have a lot more muscle definition. I have veins popping out everywhere, visible abs, and most importantly, my confidence is at an all-time high. I don't have the insecurities and the self-doubt that I used to have. Okay, and I'm not embarrassed to take my shirt off around other people. I walk around in public and people will actually come up to me and give me compliments all the time. And it's because when people see someone that's in shape, they see someone that takes their life serious, they take their health serious, and they see someone that has self-respect. All right, that is one of the most respectable things about someone, is when you look at them and you can tell that they honor their word to themselves, their discipline, and they take care of their body. Okay? So here it is, guys. The VIP method is a system that I developed from years of trial and error, learning under high-level coaches in the industry, and finding the perfect formula that made me the best version of myself, mentally, physically, and spiritually. All right, so every single day needs to start with these things. It's a non-negotiable for me. So the V stands for vision. You need to plan and list your goals for the next 6 months to 1 year. I have my goals written on my whiteboard, and I also write them in my journal. I have a little notebook like this, and I can show you a little bit after I get into this, but always write down your goals. You need to have a direction that you're moving towards. If you don't have defined goals and a defined plan, then you're not really moving towards anything. It's kind of a lot of guessing. So you need to make your goals very distinct and defined, like I said. I is for intention. List your intentions for the day. Needle moving tasks that get you closer to your goals. All right, so you need to look at your goals, and then your intentions need to be written out every single day on things that you are going to do that are going to move you closer to those goals. So for me, to give you an example, I'm working on building up my business. I have goals within my business for this year. And the intentions that I have for the day are certain things that are going to build up my business. Like this video right now, this is one of my intentions for the day, was to record this video. Another thing is to make a certain amount of content. Another thing is to build out the back-end systems on my coaching program. Another thing is to reach out to clients. Like there's so many things, and if you're probably watching this, your goals are fitness related. You want to get in better shape. You want to have abs. You want to get lean, whatever it might be. So then your intentions will be something like, I will pack all my meals before I go to work. I will drink at least a gallon of water. I will take all of my supplements. I will get to bed on time. Like just small little things that are going to move you closer to reaching your goals. All right, and this is another one that I really like, is create and execute a morning routine. So I put a checklist in my journal, and I start the day out the same way every single day. Weekday, weekend, no matter what, I make my bed, I take a cold shower, I write in my journal, and then I read my Bible. I do those 4 things every single morning before I touch my phone. And this is super important because it starts your day out with something that you can control. You can set the tone for your day, and you will be a lot more productive when you start your day out with things like this. If you get on your phone the first thing you do when you wake up and you see something that triggers you, or you receive a text that makes you feel a certain way, you're automatically in a reactive state. And your day can be dictated by what you see on your phone first thing in the morning. So always, always, always start your day out with something that you can control, and a morning routine is the perfect way to go about that. And then the P is for purpose. Okay, what I do is I write a journal entry about myself every single day, and it helps me find my purpose. Um, you know, I put a lot of thought into why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. So if you want to get in better shape, obviously at surface level, you want to look better with your shirt off. You want to, you know, whatever it might be, you just want to have that physique. But on a deeper scale, maybe you want to, show your kids that you stick to your word. Maybe you want to, I don't know, you want to be a better role model for your significant other. You want to lead other people in your family to get in shape. Um, Maybe you just want to be around longer for your kids. Whatever it might be, there's always a deeper purpose, and I highly recommend you guys take time to, truly understand and dig deep on what your purpose is. But I write a journal entry about myself every day. It's usually about overcoming struggles, my future plans and ideas, or just simply putting my thoughts on the page. I can't tell you guys how many times I've been writing in my journal about something I'm struggling with, and then as I'm halfway through it, I find the solution to my struggle. It's crazy, but I think it has something to do with a lot of times we keep our thoughts and our emotions trapped in our minds and we don't get them out. And the more they sit in our mind, the more it makes us feel bad, the more we second guess ourselves. But as soon as we talk about it or write it on a page, it's like you're getting this weight lifted off of you. And it's made a huge difference for me. I started doing this a couple years ago. I started doing all of this a few years ago, and I went away from it for a little while, and it's not a coincidence when I did that I wasn't really making much progress in my life. But now that I've gotten back into it, it has catapulted me. It's made me progress so much faster, and it's just helped me, stay aligned with my purpose. So highly recommend, guys, you need to do this every day. You need to do this. So, in order to achieve your goals, you must first become the person that is worthy of achieving them. The VIP method is without a doubt the reason I have made so much progress in such a short amount of time. It is a way of life, and it has allowed me to create and achieve many of my biggest goals. Something I like to say is you will never rise to the level of your goals. You will rise, or you will fall to the level of your systems. You will never rise to the level of your goals. You will fall to the level of your systems. What does this mean? You can have very big goals. You can have the craziest dreams, and that will motivate you. That will definitely motivate you and push you, but not every day. And sometimes in life, you're going to get hit with things that are unexpected. You're going to struggle. You're going to have setbacks. And if you don't have a strong foundation and a strong system to fall back on, you're going to keep making progress and then you're going to go back down. You're going to make progress and then go back down. And if you don't have that baseline, a strong system, then you're going to fall way far down and you're going to lose a lot of the progress you were already making. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of people just spin in circles. They might, be successful on a diet for a couple weeks or a month, but then they end up back to where they started. So it's the systems that you need to have in place that matter way more than the big goals. But now I want to get into my fitness program. The following steps, I will outline the entire process, A to Z, of what I did to accomplish my goals and how you can as well. And guys, like I said at the beginning of this video, I'm not going to hold back any information at all. I'm going to show you how to properly lose body fat and build lean muscle while also learning the systems and mindset it takes to sustain your results long term. Like I said, this is going to be very detailed, so be ready to take notes. All right, my program is made up of 2 main phases. Under those phases, there are 3 key components that are crucial to make this program work. You have phase 1, which is the priming phase, where we will lose body fat and prime your body to build. And then phase 2 is the building phase, where we will build lean muscle the right way. Okay, there is always a wrong and a right way to do this. And the key components are going to be your training, your nutrition, and your recovery. Without executing these components properly, the program simply won't work. They are simple, but often overlooked in some way, so I want to cover these first. All right, training. Intensity is a huge piece of the puzzle. You should always train as hard as you can. Many people are under the impression that eating less food or being in a calorie deficit is an excuse to use lighter weights and not train as hard. And this is the exact opposite of what you should be doing. Using a weight heavy enough to challenge you is so important because it builds strength. And what people don't realize is that a stronger muscle is a denser muscle. And a denser muscle will actually stay on your frame longer and is much harder to lose when you are in a calorie deficit. So always push yourself no matter what phase you are in. The next key to get the most out of your training is making sure your form is on point. Having good form will not only prevent injury, but also maximize your results. Every exercise you perform is going to be putting the target muscle through a specific range of motion. Having the proper form is going to line up your joints and muscles in the best position to receive stimulus. We want to be getting a full range of motion with every exercise we do. I like to say a full range of motion equals a fully developed muscle. Guys, there are multiple parts of a muscle. There's different heads in your bicep, there's different muscles in your quads. And if you only train a certain part of the range of motion, like just like the top of the rep, you're only going to be training a specific part of that muscle. Whereas if you do the full range of motion, getting a full stretch on every rep, you are going to be training that entire muscle. And it will lead to that muscle being fully developed instead of only part of it. So that's very important. This is going to allow us to get a super big stretch and contraction in every rep, which is required for optimal muscle growth. This is important exercise selection. This is important because there are simply exercises that are better than others when it comes to achieving a specific look with your physique. Too many people try to reinvent the wheel when it comes to exercise selection. The exercises in your training plan should be ones that actually work and have worked for many decades. Simple works, and it always has. Trying to overcomplicate everything is not sustainable, and it won't get you the results that you're after. You probably have heard the term science-based lifter when someone bases every exercise and the way it should be executed off of scientific research and studies. And while I do agree there is benefit to understanding the science behind exercises, some people take it too far and they use it as an excuse to not train with intensity. Guys, look at all of the greats in bodybuilding. Look at all the people with amazing physiques. They're all doing the same exercises. It's the simple stuff that works, I promise. So, training split. There is no single best training split, only one that you can execute consistently with proper intensity and recovery. All right, so upper, lower, push-pull legs, Arnold split, etc. All of these work extremely well because they allow enough volume, frequency, and recovery to drive muscle growth. And this can also depend on what body parts you want to bring up most as well. I always recommend hitting every body part at least once per week and putting more frequency on what needs the most work. Choose the right split that fits your schedule, lets you train hard, and allows you to recover fully so you can progress week after week. Now, we're getting into nutrition. This is a big one. Did I skip it twice? Okay, here we go. The honest truth is that most men have zero clue what a proper nutrition plan looks like, especially a nutrition plan that is specific for the goal they have with their physique. This goes back to at the beginning of the video when I talked about this is not a one-size-fits-all approach. Everyone has different necessities when it comes to a nutrition plan. You go online and hear one guru telling you to cut out all the carbs because they make you fat. Then the next guru says you need to be fasting every week. Sure, you might lose some body weight while doing these methods, but they aren't going to get you the dream physique that you are after, a lot of times these aren't sustainable. They aren't enjoyable, and in all honesty, will just make you look even worse. Only focusing on losing weight and seeing the number on the scale go down is not what we were after. It is the look of your physique that is far more important. You know, going back to like what a lot of these gurus will tell you, saying that carbs are bad and carbs are making you fat. I will tell you right now, if you cut out all of your carbs, your muscles will get very flat. Okay, your muscles need carbs to shuttle the water and the glycogen to them to have that full look. So if you cut out all of your carbs, you will likely lose some body weight if you are in a calorie deficit, but you're also going to look very flat, and that's how you get that skinny fat look. So that's how people can lose weight and then they end up just looking worse than they did before. So you don't want that to be you, I promise. And you're probably wondering, how can I look worse if I'm losing weight? Doing these extreme methods will put your body in a huge starvation mode where it's not only going to start eating away at your fat, but your muscles as well. And this is the last thing we want. There's a very specific way I go about creating a meal plan for my clients. It is going to keep your body in the most optimal position to slowly drop body fat while simultaneously maintaining the muscle you have worked so hard for. Macros over calories. A properly structured meal plan is based on what ratio of macros you need to achieve the goal of the current phase you are in. Macros are going to be your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. When making adjustments to your meal plan, these are the three variables that are most important. You can lose weight on low calories alone, like I just said, but without the proper macros, you'll also lose muscle, feel weak, and stall progress. So another thing that I will add is when you just pull all of your carbs out, I'm just going to use that diet in particular. When you pull all of your carbs out, that is a huge energy source, especially around your workouts. Carbs are very important. If you pull them out, you're going to get weaker. Your gym sessions are not going to be good because you're not going to be getting good pumps. And just overall quality of life, you're going to have very low energy. So if your goal is to build a physique that has, muscle definition and you're lean and, you can see your abs, then you need to be having proper macros. You need to be eating carbs, okay? Calories can determine whether you lose or gain weight, but macros determine what that weight is made of and how you will actually look. I said this before, we're going for the look, not just the number on the scale. Recovery. I cannot stress enough how important sleep is, and I learned this from a personal experience when I prepped for my first bodybuilding show. I went an entire week without dropping any body weight, even though my calories had been lowered. But I was only getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep every night. The next week I made sure I was getting to bed at a decent time, getting now 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. And just like that, I dropped 3 pounds that week, eating the same amount of food, training the same way, same amount of cardio. That extra couple hours of sleep made that much of an impact. Recovery also plays a huge role in your training and the way that you build muscle as well. When lifting weights, you are actually introducing micro tears into your muscle fibers. And recovery is the crucial step where your body repairs those tears and makes your muscles a little bit bigger and a little bit stronger. Okay, and it also gives your joints and central nervous system a break so they can recharge and be ready for your next training session. Guys, I used to not prioritize recovery at all. I'd stay up super late and get very little sleep. Then I'd train way too long in the gym, and my body hated me for it. And doing this landed me with multiple injuries and slowed down my progress immensely. So please don't make the same mistakes that I did. To make it very simple, training breaks your body down, recovery builds it back up. And without recovery, all of your hard work is essentially going to waste. So I recommend working out 5 to 6 days per week. 5 days if you are more advanced, because you're going to be able to just train with a little more intensity. It's natural that guys that have been lifting for longer know how to push themselves farther. They know how to put their muscles and their joints in the proper position to get those muscles actually really sore after you work out. So you need a little more rest. And then 6 days if you are fairly new to the gym, but this can also just depend on your schedule and what you have time for. And now that we have covered the key components to make this program work, let's get into the two main phases where all of the magic happens. The priming phase. So, this phase is the most important because it is literally priming your body to accept all of the new muscle that we will be adding to your frame. The human body becomes much more responsive and sensitive when it is in a leaner state, meaning it will be much easier to add on quality lean muscle. I like to use the analogy that your body becomes like a sponge, okay? It's ready to hold on to everything. You can absolutely still build new muscle during this phase as well, but the main point here is to get you lean and have your body primed for the second phase of this program, which is the building phase. This is where we really focus on adding muscle to give you that dream physique and that look that you have been after. So, there are a couple things we will focus on to ensure we get your body in the best spot for the second phase. The first thing we will be focusing on is your nutrition. We will want to first establish a baseline diet. This will be what food to eat, how much food to eat, and what order / when you should eat it. The order matters because around your pre-workout and your post-workout, you want to have the most carbs because you are fueling your body for the workout, and then you need carbs to recover and repair those muscles. So, the order does matter. Okay, it will likely be more food than you are used to eating. This is a very common thing that I get from new clients that aren't used to this. Many people question how they are going to lose body fat while eating more food. Every time you eat, your body's metabolism kicks into gear and tells it to start breaking down the food. The more often we can get your metabolism firing, the more often we can keep your body burning and breaking down the food. Having a faster acting metabolism is going to make it substantially easier to shed off body fat and increase performance in the gym. All right, it's just going to increase your rate of progress. So, to get your body primed and execute this phase properly, we will want to make sure you are in a calorie deficit. After your baseline diet is established, we will want to slowly reduce food, mainly pulling from carbohydrates. Whenever I reduce food, either my plan or my client's plan, the proteins and the fats usually stay the same, and I'm only pulling from the carbs. I'm not pulling all of them. It's very small changes, but that's where I will pull food from. Okay, it is very important that this is done slowly. Dropping weight too fast can lead to muscle loss, which is the last thing we want here. The average weight drop we want to see each week is no more than 1 to 4 pounds. And 4 pounds, in my opinion, is kind of pushing it, but it kind of depends at where you're starting at. If you have a lot more body fat on you, then being higher up on that scale around the 4 pound range is more acceptable. At the beginning, you may lose weight faster, but as we get toward the end of this phase, you should expect to only drop around 1 to 2 pounds per week, sometimes even only like a half pound. Okay, the goal is to do this slowly, and if you go too fast, like I said, you could lose muscle as well as the fat, and that's the last thing that we want to do. All right, you will know when it's time to drop food lower when your body starts to stagnate in dropping weight or losing body fat. So the scale isn't the only factor, but it is a good indicator that things are moving the right direction. So if your body weight is staying the same for a whole week, but you are visibly leaner, okay, this doesn't mean that you need to just drop food right away. If you are getting leaner, if you are like visibly, you can see it, I would maybe drop food a tiny bit, but it kind of depends on your body and where you're at. The last thing that you want to do is just keep dropping food just because you're in a cut and you're in a priming phase, and then next thing you know, you're way too depleted, and you don't have you don't have that muscle, that pop that you want anymore. So, and I will add this on, when you're in this priming phase, you won't have as much pop to your muscles as you will when we get into the building phase. But the goal is to not completely deplete yourself, because then you're just not going to be making any progress, and it's not going to be very enjoyable as well. All right, cardio baseline. You will also need a baseline cardio regimen to follow. This will be the type of cardio equipment to use, the duration of the cardio session, and a target heart rate to maintain throughout the session. All of these variables matter and play a huge role in this first phase. Without the proper type of cardio equipment, it can cause injury or affect your ability to keep a consistent heart rate. To give you guys an example of this, I will compare the spin bike versus the treadmill. On a spin bike, it is powered by how much you pedal. If you wanted to ease up and, not go as hard, you can just ease up and it won't make you keep pedaling. So then your heart rate could drop below the range that we're looking for. And I'll add this in right now. You want to aim for around 120 beats per minute. If you are older than 50 years old, I would say 100 beats per minute is fine. But, anyone younger than that, I would definitely try to get your heart rate up higher. But yeah, on the treadmill, you set the speed and you have to keep up with it. You don't have a choice. So it's a little easier to keep a consistent heart rate on a machine that is powered like the treadmill or the Stairmaster. And then without the proper duration and target heart rate, you will either do too much or not enough to get any benefit. So if you can even do this on the treadmill. If you just are going on a casual stroll on the treadmill, you don't have the speed up at all, you don't have it inclined, and you're not getting your heart rate up, then you're not even really getting the benefit of the cardio. So, it's still better than nothing, but if we have cardio in your plan, it is meant for you to get your heart rate up. It's meant for you to sweat. Okay, this is a lot different than just getting your daily steps in. As you go throughout this phase, you will want to increase cardio duration gradually. I will usually start this phase out around 20 minutes for 5 days a week, and then towards the end of the phase, I'll be doing around 30 to 40 minutes for 5 days a week, sometimes even 6 days a week. It's all dependent on how my body responds, but no matter what phase you are in, cardio should always be present. Even when you're in the building phase, cardio needs to be present. It'll be more towards that, baseline, that 20 minutes for 5 days a week, but cardio does a lot more than just burning fat. It keeps your heart healthy, it improves your training sessions, and it keeps you hungry as well. So that's very important in the building phase. When you're eating a little more food, you want to make sure that you're still hungry. And it also just keeps you from adding excess body fat in the building phase as well. So this phase can last anywhere from 2 to 4 months, all dependent on how much body fat you need to lose to get to the desired body fat percentage. I would always aim for around 8 to 10% before going into the second phase. Without a proper measuring tool, it can be hard to identify exactly what body fat percentage you are at. So on the next slide, I will include some before and after pictures to highlight the beginning and end of a priming phase I recently did. That way you can get some kind of idea of how lean you should get. But I can't stress this enough how important this phase is. The guys that execute this phase the best are the ones that will get the best results. If you prime your body to the best of your ability, your progress will just exponentially grow compared to someone that only does half the effort, doesn't get primed as well as they should have been. It makes a huge difference. So take this very seriously. So here's a start versus end of priming phase. I should have put the body weight on here, but I believe I'm about 215 on the left, and then on the right, like high 180s, 190. So I dropped about 25 to 30 pounds, somewhere around there. And I think it took me, I want to say three-ish months. I can't exactly remember, but you can tell, I mean, the midsection is a lot tighter. The muscles have a lot more definition, especially in my legs. You can see the cuts are a lot deeper. Even my face is a lot slimmer as well, but you can definitely notice the difference. And then on this page as well, especially on the side shot here, just my midsection, there's a huge difference there. There's a lot more separation between my quad and my hamstring. And then the back shot is pretty insane. My waist is tighter. You can see the individual muscles in my back, a lot more defined. Just a huge difference overall. So that is, the start versus the end of the priming phase that I recently did. Now for the building phase. This is where the magic happens. In my opinion, this is the most fun and my favorite part of this whole process. This is where you start to see everything truly coming together. Training will become more enjoyable because you will be getting stronger. Okay, your pumps in the gym will be the best you have ever felt. You will start noticing increased muscle mass and more definition. And this is just a preview of what's to come, because you are about to watch your dream physique literally come alive. It happens quick, guys. If you do the priming phase properly, it happens quick. With your body primed and in a leaner state, it is now going to be much more responsive, which is what's going to make this phase work so well. So we are going to reverse slowly. All right. We're going to slowly reverse out of the calorie deficit you were in. This means increasing your food and reducing your cardio. This is everyone's favorite part for obvious reasons. You get more food, you're doing less cardio, kind of self-explanatory. Okay, and very common theme in both the priming and the building phase is it needs to be done slowly. Okay, it's crucial to not jump the gun here and fall off your plan. Many people underestimate how quickly you can throw away all of the hard work you just did. Your body is extremely sensitive right now. I said it's like a sponge. Okay, so all the progress you just made in the past 2 to 4 months can absolutely be thrown away in just a week. All right, so you can choose to put the proper food in the proper amount of food by slowly reversing. You can choose to put that into your body, or you can choose to go off your diet and start eating a bunch of crap. But I promise you guys, when you start eating a bunch of crap, your body is going to be like a sponge, and it is going to hold on to that so much more than you will realize. And you can put on easily 20, 30 pounds in 1 week. It sounds pretty insane, but that's on the low end for what some guys have done, especially after bodybuilding shows. I personally dealt with that in my bodybuilding show, the first one that I ever did. And that's what I want. I want this video to be you guys learning from my mistakes as well. That was a terrible time in my life. I put on a lot of weight after my bodybuilding show, and I ruined all of the progress that I could have made. If I would have stuck to my plan and reversed slowly, I could have put on a lot of quality lean muscle. But I just got fat because I went off my diet. So don't do that. Less is more. All right, people mess this up by being impatient and not allowing the body to adapt to the changes in the program. They want the results now, but that's not how this works. Trust me, you will be surprised with how little it takes to see big changes. We will continue this process of adding food and reducing cardio until you get back to your baseline. And then throughout the duration of this phase, we will push past the baseline. The goal is to add more food, but we want to put on as much size as possible without sacrificing body composition. So we don't want to be adding on too much body fat, and this can be done by making sure we go about this process in a slow manner. If you do it too fast, if you do one of those dirty bulks, you're going to add on a bunch of body fat as well, and your body won't stay in that prime stage that we just worked so hard to get it in. So the same principle applies from the priming phase. The average weight gain we want to see each week should only be 1 to 2 pounds per week. And towards the end, it can be even less, more like a half pound to a pound per week. The slower and more gradual we can return to baseline, the higher chance that all the weight you gain will be lean muscle. So, sustainability. What's great about this program is how simple and repeatable it is. You guys have probably seen it's simple. It's not rocket science. All right? It's not extreme. It doesn't make you hate your life, which is a common issue with many of the traditional diets out there. And you can have weekly cheat meals where you still enjoy your favorite foods. And when you are intentional about your training, you won't have to sacrifice all of your free time and spend hours upon hours in the gym either. All right, this is a process that is sustainable and for individuals that want to make being in shape a way of life, not just a one-time thing that they keep trying over and over and never succeed at. So, what changed for me when I made the VIP method and my fitness program a permanent part of my life? Everything. I had all the things that I once dreamed of, things that I never thought that I would get to experience. The ripped physique, the abs, the muscle definition, and most importantly, the confidence. I was a walking testament of hard work and dedication. People started respecting me more. They started to trust me more. And for the first time in my life, I could look at myself in the mirror and be proud of the person that I have become. Okay, it's hard to even put into words how good it feels to finally say I did it, especially when it's a feeling that you've wanted and have been chasing for so long. All right, I want every single one of you guys to have the feeling of just being proud, knowing that you stuck to something, knowing you did something that most people aren't willing to do, but you went through with it and you got out to the other side. Okay? And I want you guys to understand that you are capable of doing that. Every single one of you. It comes down to a choice and having a system. Okay? A lot of you guys, the things that's holding you back is just not having the system. All right? You need to have actual data to rely on, not just your feelings. So, yeah, I want you guys all to experience this, which is why I'm making this video. So you will come to realize that this is much more than just a diet. It is truly an opportunity to become the ultimate man you were meant to be, for not just you, but the people around you as well. Your friends, your family, your wife or girlfriend, or just some random stranger that you inspire. All right, I talked about this at the beginning of this video. This is much bigger than you. There are other people that you are going to affect by taking your life serious and living with intention. All right, this is an opportunity to start living your life with purpose. I will always believe that fitness is the foundation for massive change. It allows you to level up so many areas of your life all at once. Guys, the results speak for themselves. You can see on that left transformation, my arm is like twice the size. My delts, my shoulders just have this cap to them. They're round. You can see I have veins. I mean, everything, dude. And then the picture on the left, obviously, you know, my midsection, my shoulders are much wider. My legs are like twice the size. Everything. And I know you guys watching this, you want to achieve something that's like people looking, you're like, holy crap, like how did you do that? Well, it starts with having the systems. It starts with executing. All right. And now that you understand exactly how this process works, I have an offer for you. If you are a guy that is either out of shape, you're either too skinny or too fat, you're tired of lacking confidence from the way you look, you're not sure where to start, or nothing you try seems to work, but is also ready to look great with your shirt off, ready to be respected by others, and willing to put in the work, meaning you ultimately want to gain lean muscle, find your true purpose in life, and regain your confidence, I will help coach you through that entire process that is proven to get the results that you're after. And not to mention, we will do it all in half the time, cost, pain it would take for you to do it on your own. So if you want to see similar results for yourself and you want to change your life from implementing this process, hit the link in the description and book a call to get a walkthrough of how my program can work for you. We will get on a call, we will go over what you're doing right now, and I will tell you exactly how we will apply this to your specific life and how we will get you the results that you're after. All right. If it sounds like it's a good fit, we can talk about working with each other. But if not, worst case scenario, I can still point you in the right direction. I can still give you advice, and I will always continue providing value on here and on my Instagram and TikTok, wherever I post my content. I will keep providing value for free so you guys can, still make changes and you don't feel like you have to spend money on a coach to, get the results that you're after. Here's what I will say about coaches though. You don't get a coach for a meal plan and a training plan. You get a coach because they are smart, they have knowledge that you don't have, and they will hold you accountable. The accountability is probably one of the biggest things. For me personally, that's why I have always had a coach. I've always had a coach for my fitness. I have a coach for my business because I know and I understand that I don't have all the answers. Okay? I don't have all the answers, and I'm not going to sit here and waste time spinning my wheels doing trial after error, trial and error, and just wasting time at the end of the day, wasting time and money. And, I would rather get the results as soon as possible, doing it with a proper system, and, learning a system that I can implement into my life and act on and keep, that's going to sustain me for the rest of my life. So that's what I want to do for you guys. But yeah, guys, that's the program, the VIP method, the two phases I talked about. That's exactly what I do in my life. That's how I've gotten the results that I've got. That's how I've become the person worthy of achieving the results that I got. It starts with intention. It starts with intention. It starts with a choice. It starts with turning away from the life that you know you shouldn't be living, the decisions you're making, the bad habits you have. It starts with turning away from those things and turning towards what you know you need to do. So if you guys enjoyed this video, you can subscribe, leave a comment if you have any questions. If you wanted to book a call and talk more, the link will be in the description. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching. If you made it this far, I can definitely tell that you are serious and you want to make a change in your life. So I wish you all the best, and I hope to talk to you soon. Peace.